Welcome back to Movies TV Man. I'm Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives. You can follow me on X Twitter at Movies TV Mad and on Instagram and on Threads at Movies TV Mad X. A very beautiful Cypriot Iron Apple Wednesday to you. The sun is beaming, which means that's going to heat up my water so I can have a beautiful hot shower later. Very excited about that. Small things pleasing small minds. What can I say? So very warm welcome to Wednesday's edition of the DCU Daily. James Gunn's Superman may be the greatest Superman film ever. It may be a great movie, but it doesn't change the fact that flying sequence in that TV spot he released the other day is bad, is goddamn awful. He should know that and not released it. He should have learned from his mistakes from the flying sequence from Guardians Volume 3. But no, he did exactly the same thing because he isn't a visual director. As I've said before, his CGI in the past has been solid, it's been fine. He shot some space stuff in Guardians, which is cool and solid. I wouldn't call it groundbreaking and extraordinary, but it wasn't bad either. That Superman flying shot is bad. A lot of people are doing some mental gymnastics trying to say that us critics of that shot are going too far. I warned you all what would happen. I warned you that making a Superman film means that everyone is going to have an opinion. Don't you remember the Man of Steel trailers? Everyone had an opinion when Clark said, "What do you think I should have done? Let them die?" And Jonathan Kent goes, "Maybe." Everyone lost their SHIT, their crap over that, because it's Superman and everyone and his father and his mother have an opinion on Superman. So what did James Gunn think was going to happen? You release a goddamn awful shot and it's all about hubris, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody else. Because when Dick Donner took over Superman, he took over from another director. And when he saw the people handling the flying had handled the flying in a Peter Pan play, he turned around and said, "That's it." And he went and got the best people because great flying had never been done on film before. So he brought some amazing people, the best cinematographer in Jeffrey Unsworth, the best visual people who had never created the visuals he was going to ask them to create. He brought the designer who designed Star Wars. Dick Donner brought the best because, like James Gunn, Dick Donner wasn't a visual director. He understood his limitations here, but he was a director of actors. He was a great director of actors. That's what he was. He had read the script that had been written by 3 or 4 people, including Mario Puzo, the author of The Godfather, for Christ's sake. But the script was awful. So he brought his good friend Tom Mankiewicz to rewrite the entire thing. And he did. And it was a beautiful script. Donner understood his limitations, but it looks like James Gunn doesn't understand his limitations, or he's so arrogant, he's full of so much hubris, he can't see his limitations. I will repeat to you what I've said on several occasions. James Gunn had to have his arm twisted to write a Superman film. He then had to have his arm twisted to direct this Superman film. They told him when they approached him to do a DC movie, "We want you to write a Superman film. If you write a Superman film, then you can do any other movie you want." Now, during the marketing of the Suicide Squad, James Gunn forgot to tell us that. He said that he was offered anything, that he could do anything. That's not the truth. He was told, if you agreed to write a Superman film, because they wanted to reinvent Superman, they wanted to jettison Henry Cavill, the Snyderverse, and they wanted something new. And so he agreed to write a Superman film. He didn't really want to do it. He knew it wasn't to his strengths, but he did it so he could write and direct the Suicide Squad. And then when Zaslav came in and it became DC Studios, and he was appointed co-CEO of DC Studios with Peter Safran. Safran pressured him, twisted his arm, not literally, but literally had to pressure him into directing the movie. Gunn admitted he wasn't sure he wanted to direct Superman. His words, not mine. You've got to want to write and direct a Superman movie. And James Gunn never wanted to do it. And as I've said on many occasions, everyone, should have their own corner at DC. So Reeves has got his corner. Gunn should be doing his Suicide Squad stuff, his Creature Commando stuff, and he shouldn't be running a connected universe. And even Snyder, who should have his little corner somewhere, doing his little Snyderverse movies. No one should be running a connected universe. Snyder shouldn't have been running a connected universe. He, David Goyer and Christopher Nolan should have together been writing and directing a Man of Steel trilogy, because the first one was so good with those three guys working together, and we and them were done dirty because WB became really, really reactive. I miss the DCEU versus MCU rivalry. I actually quite like the early phases and the first phase of the MCU, and I like early DCEU. I love Man of Steel. I love Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice. I think Suicide Squad is okay, even though they did David Ayer dirty, and Wonder Woman is an outstanding film. So during that period, we had that great rivalry with MCU fans. We had the memes, we had everything. It was brilliant. It was exciting times, and what it was that the DCEU was a beautiful contrast to the MCU. The MCU were doing their thing. They were very mainstream. Mainstream audiences were gobbling it up. Critics were loving it. Now, critics hated the early DCEU because it wasn't the MCU. That's how I saw the situation. But for every yin, you need a yang. For every neighbours, you need a home and away. Do you understand? If DC at that time with the DCEU did exactly what the MCU were doing, people would be screaming, copycats, copycats, sitting on the doormat. Copycats, copycats. And you heard that before. Copycats, copycats, sitting on the doormat. But anyway, Snyder decided not to do that and do his own thing. And it was unique and it was its own thing. And those early movies made money. 650. Nearly 800 million for the first Suicide Squad. Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice, about 870. Respectable money. Wonder Woman made about 800 million. And well reviewed. That was the first DCEU movie to actually get really good reviews as well. I think it was wrong of the critics to trash MOS and BVS. I think they're great movies, but they were being trashed because they wasn't the MCU. But they were a great alternative to the MCU. And they were great days. MCU fans and DCEU fans, and as I say, the memes, it was great. But WB went reactive. They wanted to be the MCU because they wanted MCU money that they never got. Maybe if they stuck with Snyder, things would have been okay, because even the box office he was bringing in was solid. And from the moment he left, apart from Aquaman, every movie tanked at the box office, because Aquaman was as epic and as climactic as Wonder Woman, as BVS and as MOS, and that's why that movie made so much money. But afterwards, you had cheap, colourful MCU type movies, and they were bad movies. They didn't work. WB were too reactive, too soon, and they tanked their own studio. Now, so I don't know if James Gunn's Superman film is going to be a good film or a bad film. Just because of one bad flying sequence, it doesn't mean the other flying sequences won't be great. I don't know. It's not just about the visuals. The story and the characters has to work. Now, Gunn's better with storytelling and characters than he is with visuals. But this is Superman, and everybody is watching. And if you're of the thought that the only people who don't like that flying sequence in the TV spot are Snyder fans, you're wrong. I told you the other day, the creator of Deadpool even came out and said it himself. Now, he's a big Man of Steel fan, by the way. A man of great taste, obviously. But that flying sequence isn't good. It's okay for people to say it isn't good as long as it's done in a constructive way. As a director, as a studio, they should have known what was going to happen. I am shocked to my core that he has shot a flying sequence the same way he did in Guardians Volume 3, when the fans have already told him, even the Guardians fans told him, even his own fans told him, James, we don't want Superman flying like that. So what did he do? He made Superman fly like that. It's very current day Hollywood. It's very, very new Hollywood. They don't listen to their audiences. And I'm stunned that WB as a studio, when they saw that TV spot, and I'm assuming he showed it to them before it was going to be released, didn't say, oh, hang on, James, this ain't good, mate. Because it isn't good. It isn't a debate. It's a factual statement. It's a horrible shot. It's horrible. It's as simple as that. And I explained why yesterday. Because the arms are down by the side, the face looks terrible, CGI or not. He can try and distract the narrative, but the face doesn't look good, and it does David Corenswet a disservice. If I was an actor being shot like that, I wouldn't be happy. And I'll reiterate and repeat, as boring as it is, what I said yesterday. He says wide shots, close-up wide shots, can make the face look different. Not different, James. Bad. Can't you see? They gave them eyes. They cannot see. Neither can Superman through lead. Can't you see, James? Can't you see it's a terrible shot? Can't you see that? Warner Brothers Discovery are relying on your movie to save their studio. You can't be delivering awful shots like that. You're better than this, James. I know you're better than this. You're a really good, capable director. No, you're not Donner, you're not Lucas, you're not Coppola. You're none of the great directors. Maybe you think you are. Maybe I know that your fans think that you're better than the great directors. You are not. You're not even Tarantino, mate. And even Tarantino's a great... And Tarantino said something brilliant. He goes, we ain't had great movies in cinema since 2019. And he's right. And he's really, you know... I love it when Tarantino talks because he gives it large and he speaks facts. Because all these kind of old school directors have had enough. The industry that they love and we love have been burnt. They don't listen to us. They call us toxic fans when we call out their creative bankruptcy, and that flying sequence in that TV spot is creative bankruptcy, James Gunn. It's as simple as that. And your little shills and your corporate bootlickers can say what they want, but it is a disgrace. It is creative bankruptcy. I don't care what anyone says, and it frustrates me and it makes me angry as a fan because I know you can do better. But there's no one watching over you, James. You can do whatever you want. And just because you can do whatever you want, it doesn't mean you should do whatever you want. This was an opportunity for you, James, to prove you are not a one-trick pony. And you are coming across as a used car salesman who really isn't offering up anything fresh, anything new, anything good. You literally have done the same goddamn awful flying sequence, I'll repeat, as you did in Guardians Volume 3. And I'm stumped. I'm mystified by this mentality. It's lazy, James. It's lazy. Because that shot kind of hints that you're not capable of photographing Superman and shooting Superman. Because Superman has been shot and photographed so beautifully over the years. And that spot, that flying sequence in that TV spot is not it. It's not good enough. It's not of a high standard. It's not of any standard at all. And it puts into question your capabilities as a visual director. Because you have your strengths, James. Like all of us, you have your weaknesses. And I don't think stunning visuals is one of your strengths as a director. You should never have released that flying sequence in that TV spot.